Okay, Unit 3, Day 3, Function Notation. Functions are really nothing more than equations here. So we're taking something, instead of saying y equals something, we're going to say f of x. So that's how it's read, f of x. The function's name is f, and the x is there because inside the function somewhere we're using the variable x. Think the output of f is the input of x. So let's look at our function machine here. So if I called this function f, okay, and we'll say it's f of x because I'll use the function, I'll say it equals x plus 7. If I asked you what happens when you put in 3, when you put in 3 in here for x, we would get 3 plus 7. When you do 3 plus 7, your output should then be 10. Our new notation, instead of saying just plug in 3, I will put it like this, f and then the 3 in the parentheses. So you can kind of see how 3 is in the same spot where the x is. So we're going to replace the x with 3. And then my output, it went through the machine and the machine pooped out 10. So I'm going to say f of 3 equaled 10. If we had the y there, then we would say y equals 10. Okay. When we are solving these, we want to use order of operations. So remember PEMDAS? Please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. Parentheses are grouping symbols, exponents, multiplication, division in one step, addition, subtraction in another. So let's go ahead and start with our first example. So for 1a, it says that our function is named f of x. F is the letter that we're calling the function. X is here because in our equation area we have x. I'm asking you to find f of negative 2. So I'm saying, well, instead of x, we're going to put a negative 2. Or I'm thinking, when x equals negative 2, what happens? So let's plug this in here. So we have 4 plus 3. The 3 and the x are mushed together. That's multiplication. So we'll then plug in or substitute in negative 2. Order of operations tells me to multiply first. So 3 times negative 2 is negative 6. Now left to right, 4 minus 6 is negative 2. Okay, negative 2 is my final answer. If I want to write my answer in function notation, I'll write f of negative 2 equaled, so that means when I plugged in negative 2, I got, right here, the negative 2. This time it just so happens to be the same number. Okay, the next one, I have the variable g. So g of x equals negative 2 times x squared plus 5. So let's go ahead and plug in negative 4 for x. So I have negative 2 and then x squared plus 5. Instead of x here, I'm going to put the negative 4. Order of operations says to do the exponent first, so negative 2 times negative 4 squared. That's negative 4 times negative 4, which is 16. Remember, if you're plugging that into your calculator, make sure you use parentheses. Then I've got negative 2 times 16, which is negative 32. Drop down the plus 5. Negative 32 plus 5 is negative 27. So I'll say g of negative 4 equaled, when I input negative 4, remember x is our input, our y, or our range here, is our output, negative 27. When I input my x, my output was negative 27. Okay, next one here. I have these bars right here. Those are absolute value. Remember back to when we started doing absolute value? Absolute value is the distance that this number is from 0. And remember, distance cannot be negative. So when I'm solving this out, I have my expression 7 minus 2. Instead of x, we're going to plug in 8. So negative 2 times 8. Close parentheses, close absolute value. So value of 7, negative 2 times 8 is negative 16. I keep the negative for now. Now 7 minus 16, that is negative 9. Now that I'm down to one number, I can evaluate for the absolute value. Absolute value of negative 9 is a positive 9. So I'm going to say f of 8 equals 9. Part D. This time I've got a fraction. So I'm going to take, everywhere I see x, I'm going to plug in 6. So I have 7 times 6 minus 4, all that divided by 2. Order of operations says do the multiplication on the top first. 7 times 6 is 42. So 42 minus 4 divided by 2. Before I divide, I have to simplify the top. 42 minus 4 is 38. 38 divided by 2. 38 divided by 2 is 19. So I'm going to say h of 6 equaled 19. I use h because here it says h. Okay, the next part is just kind of completing the table. So I have across here, I'm going to find f of negative 4 and then f of 0. And I have 3 different functions. So first, let's do the first column here. So this is saying when x equals negative 4, what happens? When x equals 0, what happens? So negative 4 times negative 4 plus 7. Negative 4 times negative 4 is 16 plus 7. 16 plus 7 is 23. Now let's plug in 0. Negative 4 times 0 plus 7. Negative 4 times 0 is 0 plus 7. 0 plus 7 is 7. Next part. Let's plug in for this x. So I have 3 times negative 4 squared minus 5. First do the exponent. So 3 times negative 4 squared is 16. Now multiply. 3 times 16 is 48 minus 5. 48 minus 5 is 43. Now let's plug in 0. 3 times 0 squared minus 5. 0 squared is 0, so 3 times 0 minus 5. 3 times 0 is just 0, so 0 minus 5. 0 minus 5 is negative 5. Be careful with your negatives. Last one, we have absolute value again. So we'll get down to one number and then take it out of the absolute value. So absolute value of negative 4 is going in for our x. Negative 4 plus 1. Negative 4 plus 1 is negative 3. So we're thinking, how far is negative 3 from 0 on a number line? Well, it is 3 spaces. Okay. Lastly, let's plug in 0. Absolute value of 0 plus 1. 0 plus 1 is 1, so I have absolute value of 1. How far is 1 from 0 on the number line? It is 1 space. Final answer.